Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Socially Awesome channel. Elise Smith here. I am so excited to be here with you today. All of the month of January, we are going to be talking about branding like a boss. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, if you're not already in my free community, Socially Awesome Entrepreneurs on Facebook, you're going to want to jump in because January 23rd through January 25th, we have a Become a Brand Boss Challenge where I will actually be doing 3 days worth of intensive training to help you nail your personal brand in 2023 on social media. So if you are struggling to attract that ideal client, that ideal customer, the person that you want to work with to your business, 9 times out of 10, something is wrong in your branding. And I'm not just talking about colors and fonts. I'm talking about your brand voice, your brand messaging, all of the things that attract people to you, your content. Who is your content speaking to? Is it speaking to the person that you want to work with or the person who you used to be? And I say that with conviction because I have struggled with that as well. Content is truly king. And a lot of times people want to help. They want to provide value to the person who they used to be, and that's not always the person they want to work with. So I'll give you an example before I jump into today's topic of 7 ways to nail your branding like a boss, okay? So we're going to start January off with a huge bang, and I'm going to give you those 7 ways right off the bat. But let me give you an example of what I mean by attracting the person that you don't necessarily want to work with. So a lot of times when, especially females, when we first get into entrepreneurship, we want to help that mom, or we want to help that woman that's struggling with that self-confidence, or we want to help that person that needs extra money for groceries. And we often mention that in our content. And if that's who your ideal client is, great, you're nailing it. However, a lot of times we're looking for that higher ticket client so that we can be more of a boutique style, right? So personally, I am trying to reach that established entrepreneur that's just ready to outsource their social media. They just don't want to do it. They rather outsource it. They rather spend their money spend their time on their money making activities, which is their zone of genius. But if my content speaks to that, female entrepreneur that's just getting started, that she is struggling to make ends meet. She's scared. She's got a scarce money mindset, doesn't want to invest in her business yet because she's not there in the mindset. If my content is saying, do you need grocery money? Do you need gas money? Then I'm going to attract people that don't have money and they can't afford my services. So don't take that the wrong way. Take that you really need to hone in on who is your ideal client and make sure that your content is attracting that person. Okay. So I'm going to run through this super quickly because all of January, we are going to focus on branding. So make sure that you have, whether you're watching this on YouTube or the podcast, you subscribe to our channel. I love reviews on comments that I can help you through your branding process. So make sure that you engage with us as well. And if you're not already in our free community, check the show notes wherever you're watching this to get the link to join that, because you're going to want to be in that challenge. But make sure you're subscribed, whatever channel you're watching this on, so you get the rest of our branding tips for the whole month of January. So let's dive in. 7 ways to nail your branding like a boss. The first is consistency is critical with branding. So when I worked in corporate, I would say that use the same designer for everything, but that's not always the case with an entrepreneur, right? A lot of times we're doing our own things. Personally, Canva is life for me. And I am trained on a lot of other Photoshop platforms and Illustrator and all the Adobe products. And I do use them from time to time, but Canva is so easy. But when I say consistency is critical, like I said, in corporate, I would have told you, make sure you use the same designer, but that's not always in the budget, right? So if you're putting together branding images for your business, you want to have the same colors, the same fonts. You want to have a style guide, a brand guide, okay? And if you're not sure how to do this, you can connect with me. You can go to sociallyawesome.com. You can also find me on Facebook or Instagram. I actually just released a course. It's $67. It's very inexpensive, and it's called The Roadmap to Branding on Facebook. And it comes with templates that you can change the colors, change the fonts, plug and play your pictures in it, and use right away. So highly, highly, highly recommend snagging that course. Like I said, it's $67. Very inexpensive tax write-off, great way for you to get your business going, right? Number 2, your font choice matters more than you think. So what messaging you're trying to get across with your branding, that font choice will choose will either help communicate it or it will conflict with it. So for instance, if you're trying to show that you're a professional brand, you're selling your products and services only to professionals, you don't necessarily want to use like energetic fonts, right? You don't want to use things that look like they came off Nickelodeon, or you want to make sure that your token is professional. So, but on the same side, if you're young and hip and you're, a very modern startup, you don't want to use something that's so stuffy that it's going to attract that 50 and 60-year-old, male from corporate. You want to make sure that your font matches your branding. Okay. So it's very important. And I did a whole series of episodes in regards to this when I first started my podcast. So like episodes 1 through 5 are all about branding as well. These are just like an updated version, a 2023 version for you, but you can go back because a lot of what I mentioned back then still applies today. Okay. Number 3, the colors you choose convey different emotions. So I'm not going to go into this too in depth because I try to keep episodes less than 10 minutes, but in my challenge in January, in my community, we're going to be going through the color psychology, the wheel, why it matters. Think, a lot of fast food restaurants use the same colors, right? Why? Because psychologically, people buy with emotion, and those colors make them feel emotions. So you need to know what colors to choose when you're trying to convey your brand messaging. Number 4, claim every profile you can and use specific sizes. What do I mean by that? When people search for you online, you want them to be able to easily find you, okay? So you need to claim your profiles for your business every chance you get. So don't just think that, oh, well, I'm never going to have a Twitter account, so that's not important. Even if you're not going to be active on a platform, I recommend as a professional that you go ahead and create it with that username so that you can have a consistent username across all of your platforms. So when you are ready to go into a different platform, that you already own that name. So it's just like claiming a domain name when you're going to get a website. You need to make sure that you've got that created. So if a customer searches for you, they won't just find your website. They'll see messaging wherever they visit, okay? Number 5, develop a tone of voice and stick to it. Your branding does not just include your images that you're using or your font. It also includes your tone. Okay, so get very specific about your messaging, who your target customer is. For me, my tone is pretty bold. It's pretty assertive. And my clients and my customers and my audience like it. But I'm trying to attract that entrepreneur and that's already somewhat established, that's ready to just outsource to my agency. And that's why it's important for me to be very assertive and bold and postured, because I don't want to attract that entrepreneur that's not sure about their business. They're still questioning things. They're timid. I want to work with people that are attracted to someone who just tells the truth and moves forward. There's no sugarcoating here. That's me personally. But you should know your brand best. You should know your messaging best. So number 6, speak directly to your customers. This goes back to your mission statement, what drives you. When you figure it out, you understand who your target customer is and why you're in business to serve them and follow through with the problems that they have, how your solution can help them with their problem. Okay. So when it does, and when you do start to speak directly to your client, you will see that your conversion rates will skyrocket. Okay. So this is everything from your website copy, your advertisements, how you speak to them in DMs, y'all. Sales can be made in DMs if you nail down your messaging. If you need help with this, reach out. I have consulting. I help people with this all the time. And number 7 is pull inspiration from $1 million brands. So a lot of people are scared to follow brands that know what they're doing because they get imposter syndrome and they get nervous and they get timid and they feel like they're not doing all the things that that person is doing. And I can tell you the only way to learn is by watching, not the only way to learn, but the best way to learn is by watching what success looks like, watching what successful people are doing and how they're nailing it in their brand and how you can create that same momentum and success and use what they have done in your own business. So I hope this helps. I hope you got value out of today's episode. Wherever you're listening, we always appreciate with my whole heart. I love reading reviews. It speaks to me. It helps me understand what you want to hear on the channel. And as always, make sure you take a screenshot of this, put it in your stories wherever you're watching it. Tag me. My username is in the show notes, or you can find it on any of my platforms. It's Elise1Smith. And we do a drawing every single month that we give away gift cards to people who help promote our platforms on their platforms. You also will get shared on my platform and get in front of my audience, which is about 65,000 people right now. So hoping to reach 100 by the end of 2023. So it's only going to grow. That's one of the best ways to grow your audience, is to leverage other people's audiences. So until next time, I'll see you on Thursday for our interview, and then next Tuesday for our Quick Tip Tuesday. As always, make it simple, make it social, and make it awesome. See you then.